What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today, we're going to be looking at the Greg Olsen trade, which occurred back on July 28th, 2011. Now, this was a trade that was previously discussed as part of the original Trent Richardson trade, which will be linked in the description below, but it more than merited its own breakdown. So basically, 3 days after the 2011 NFL lockout came to its conclusion, the Chicago Bears made a somewhat stunning move. They decided to deal away star tight end Greg Olsen, who had a single year left on his contract. Now, Olsen was completely blindsided by this deal, as he wanted to stay in Chicago, but the team didn't value the tight end position as much as other teams did. Carolina gladly offered a third-round pick for Olsen and proceeded to sign him to a long-term deal. So how did this trade work out? We'll start by looking at the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Panthers got tight end Greg Olsen in this trade, and his first year as a Panther was solid, as Olsen ended the year with 45 receptions for 540 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, his second year saw him earn a larger portion of the team's targets, as he became one of the better tight ends in the league. So in 2012, he would catch 69 passes for 843 yards and 5 touchdowns. He had a very similar season the following year, as he ended that campaign with 73 catches for 816 yards with 6 touchdowns. Now, 2014 was the first of 3 very strong, arguably elite seasons for Greg Olsen. He ended that year with 1,008 yards and a career-high 84 receptions, while adding 6 touchdowns. 2015 was Olsen's best year as a pro. He would catch 77 passes for a career-high 1,104 yards and 7 touchdowns. This was the year where the Carolina made a run to the Super Bowl, and Olsen was a key part of their offense during the playoffs. Over 3 games, he would catch 16 passes for 231 yards with a touchdown. Now, in the Super Bowl, he would catch 4 passes for 41 yards, but unfortunately for him, the Panthers were unable to defeat the Broncos. Now, he was one of the few Panthers to play well in 2016, as he ended that year with 1,073 yards and 3 touchdowns on 80 catches. This was just a bad year for the Panthers in general. Now, he had a lost season in 2017, as he would break his foot early on, and he later aggravated the injury. He ended the year with 17 catches for 191 yards and a single touchdown across 7 games. Now, Olsen would re-injure that foot in 2018, which once more limited his effectiveness as a player. Over 9 games, he would catch 27 passes for 291 yards with a solid 4 touchdowns. He had a good bounce-back year in 2019, catching 52 passes for 597 yards with 2 touchdowns, but he would end up getting released after that season. Still, he was a 2-time second-team All-Pro selection and a 3-time Pro Bowler. Very good haul for Carolina. How did the Chicago Bears do? Now, the Chicago Bears got a 2012 third-round pick for him. This would be the 73rd overall selection, and this would be traded away. We did discuss this in the Brandon Marshall trade, which will be linked in the description below, but I decided that we'd give you a real quick summary on how Marshall did for the Bears. Now, over 3 years, Marshall appeared in 45 games for Chicago. He would catch 279 receptions for a whopping 3,524 yards and 31 touchdowns. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time first-team All-Pro selection, and he is considered to be one of the greatest 100 Bears of all time. All in all, good trade for both teams. Obviously, Chicago did give up another pick to get Brandon Marshall, but this pick was paramount in the trade to get him. Carolina getting Greg Olsen, he was a great player for a while for them. So on paper, it's close. You do have to give maybe the slightest of slight edges to Carolina since they got Olsen for 1 pick. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. This was Greg Olsen trade. Have a good rest of your day.